Hello, 2016, it is Krista, and I have information for you. So in talking to a lot of you guys, finding that I'm having the same conversation over and over again, so I want to make sure I posted it, as there's a lot of information at this point, and some of it overlaps with each one of you individually, regardless of where you are in your process. For those of you who aren't far enough to necessarily have this conversation be relevant, it's still going to be useful information to know sort of what you're looking forward to getting out of this recruiting process as you pursue it. Okay, so here's the thing. We're at the end of July, beginning of August, and we're all heading to the fall, depending on what your story is with your college list. Hopefully at this point, you've narrowed down your list enough where at least you know your criteria for college, and for about 10 to 15 of you guys, you really are starting to get a smaller list that you're interested in. Whether or not you had steady conversations or communications with those college coaches sort of varies on the kid. But here's the thing. We are at a point where we want information. For a long time, you've sent CCUs out, you've sent pre and post emails out, and it's one-way communication because the colleges can't necessarily communicate back with you. So where that leaves you is not necessarily knowing where you are on their list, not necessarily knowing where you stand in the relationship with them, and just kind of waiting for them to say something to you. The thing about this recruiting process is because it's so unreliable, you can't really wait for them to say something to you. If college coaches are interested in you, you will know it. There's no barrier where you're like, maybe they've been trying to reach me and they haven't. No. When they're interested, they will reach you. So what we need to do is to make sure that we're getting information from them so that we have answers. What we want are answers. What we're scared of is a no. The thing is, a no is almost as great as a yes because at least we know whether they're interested or not. It's the gray area in between that's a little bit harder to navigate. So I'm going to just set it up like this. On the one end, there's an extreme yes where they ask you to commit, in which case, amazing, awesome, if that's a school you know you want to go to. When you are asked to commit to a school, we always say that you should do it from home, not from being abroad or being in a hotel or being in a camp or not being around your family. You should commit from your house if at all possible after you've communicated with your family, your parents, any coaches that you want to consider in this decision, and you've really made a final decision. You want this to be the decision that you're making for all the good reasons. So that's a extreme situation. Yes, yay, and that's perfect. That's how we want it to all work out. That doesn't happen for everybody. There's also the other extreme of the no. Okay, the coach says, I'm not interested in you, which, though devastating, right, at least it's information, and we are going to at X Team support you in pushing back on that no in two ways. The first way is to say, will you never be interested in me? Are you never going to consider 2016? Is this the end of the road? What happens if some kids that commit to you, uncommit to you? You want to ask that very succinctly and get the answer. If the answer from the coach is still, no, we are not going to recruit you, we have no intention of recruiting you, we're done, or we're just not interested in you, then you want to push back in the second way, which would be okay, what is your walk-on situation? And you want to ask this because you want to know the full range of options for you at that school to play lacrosse. If they're a Division I school, it starts with the Division I program, being recruited and committing. The next level is possibly a walk-on if they do that sort of thing. And thirdly is do they have a club team program? Fourthly might be, hey, are there middle school programs in the area that I might coach? Regardless of what your interest is now, you want to make sure you understand the spectrum of the lacrosse opportunities at that school, depending on how you change over time. Again, you as a 2016, you're only a rising junior, so we're talking about in 2 years from now you're going to college. You don't know exactly what you think you know what you want right now, and I hope this is what you always want, especially because you're pursuing it with so much gusto. But if you just want lacrosse as a part of your life, you want to make sure that you already have done the investigating in how that can exist for you at each of those schools. All right, so that's the no. Now, when a coach says no, we know how devastating it is. We want to make sure we're there for you. But even still, that information can set you free. And if that school is something you really like, you might consider getting in on your own and making sure that you understand the walk-on option if that's something that interests you at the time. In the meantime, you sort of want to move on to continue to get answers from schools. And then, of course, because we have the extreme yes and then we have the extreme no. There's the place in between, all that information in between that you want to seek out where a coach says, yes, we're interested in you. Maybe you're in our first year, maybe you're in our second year. We're looking into the fall. We have 2 commits already. We're waiting to hear back from them, and then we'll consider you. So there's all that stuff in between. Here's what you want out of this. You want a pretty specific, definable timeline when you're going to get a yes or a no. So coach is still interested in me. She's looking into the fall. Okay, what is the fall? Is the fall her clinic? Is the fall tournaments? Is she waiting for SAT scores? What is the exact timeline? Is she looking to make a decision at the end of August? Is she looking to make a decision at the end of November? So you want to get, or he is making a decision at the end of November. You want to find out in that gray area. It's amazing that they're still looking at you, right? And when would they likely make the decision on you? So, you know, they've got 2 offers out and they're waiting for those. If they're giving those girls a timeline of September 15th, then I could expect to find out what's happening September 15th or around then. So what I think is happening for all of you guys as I wrap this up is that you're scared of the information they might be giving you. You'd rather stay in this sort of like purgatory in between of like, I don't know if they want me, and that might be a good thing and it might be a bad thing. What I want you guys to do, as we talked about at the end of Biggie, is walk into the fire and get the information. That information, a yes or a no, will empower you. Even if you're your number 1 school and they say they're not interested in you, that is information with which you can do something. So if they say no, then I can either decide that school stays on my list because I want to apply on my own and maybe pursue a walk-on option, or because of that no, I no longer want to focus on that school on my list. And that would be then your choice, even though it feels like it's backing you into a corner. So the biggest thing for this week upcoming is that you guys are seeking answers from coaches. We'll give you a little bit more information on making phone calls in a different video, and how you pursue that. If any 2017s are watching this video, this is what you want to start looking for now. Now, it wouldn't necessarily be as aggressive as the 2016s. You're not going to be calling on the phone like crazy right now, the way that they probably are if they're rounding out towards the end of their process. But you would be seeking this as you cruise into your whole next year. For all of you guys, for all you 2016s that are sort of hammering it down, there's a couple of things you really want to make sure you're still doing. You want to make sure you refresh your questionnaires at every school that's still on your list. You want to make sure you're looking at the spectrum of lacrosse opportunities from Division I, walk-on, to intramural, to club, and to maybe even coaching opportunities in the area. You want to be trying to communicate and get these answers out of these coaches. You want to be using any links you have, whether you're high school coaches or friends of the college coaches, to be able to get information back from the coaches. You want to be using us as much as possible, and we're pursuing the coaches as much as we possibly can last week and now this week. So those are the things that you can do. You also, finally, you can look at all the fall schedules. What camps, clinics are these coaches offering at their school? If you're a 2016 and you're winding down your list and you still have these schools in the running, you need to get on those campuses. It's why your list isn't 30 schools long anymore. And your list may be 30 schools long, but you really want to concentrate on anywhere between 3 to 7 schools where you have good leads and where you haven't gotten an extreme yes. At that point, you would have either chosen to commit or extreme no's. These are schools that still have you in that gray area of considering you. There's a new snapshot format which we'll post as well. You're going to be using that to communicate with your ex-team coaches. I hope this video has been good information. Please email me, call me, text me, and let me know if we can do anything. Hopefully this helps you guys out and you have context for conversations at this point. Psyched to hear from you guys, and you'll get another video soon. Bye.